What's going on, everybody? It's JC, single digits, coming at you again on YouTube. I gotta work on my intros. They are painful. I'll get better. Trust me. Um, so, over the past week, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I've been doing a lot of contemplation about the channel. So, I have some things that I want to focus on and some things I want to trim and cut. So I think my focus is going to be a lot more on the, video end for you guys. So it's just more easily digestible. It's at your own time, your own pace. You can watch a video, leave it, come back to it, whatever. So that's, I think, what I'm going to be doing from now on. I still want to do some video streams and like game streams, but I don't think it's going to be the case where I'm making them for concurrent viewers, but again, just making them to create clips of content and things like that. And speaking of streaming games, the one game I was talking about that I was very interested in doing was Hogwarts Legacy. It's the new like Harry Potter open world RPG role playing game that's coming out next month in February. And this video today is just going to be a reaction because saw a I saw a video on YouTube about a boycott of the game, and it's a long video. I don't know if I'll go all the way through it, but it's interesting, and I'll give my impressions and my takes on it. It is controversial of a topic, so bear with me, and I'll try to articulate my ideas and opinions as fairly as I can. But this video is actually by a guy named LegacyKillaHD. I'll link it down in the description. But as you can see from the title here, it's 1 million plus demand boycott of Harry Potter RPG Hogwarts Legacy. Let's watch.
As was the case for many amongst my age, I grew up with Harry Potter.
I did not switch my audio because I'm a jerk. I hope that doesn't ruin the video. So let's do this.
Certainly wasn't invested in the books and movies and other stuff like some were, but I was interested enough to hit the theaters whenever a new movie came out. It was probably one of the first franchises that I truly felt attached to. Besides the movies, I also played the games, the ones on the PlayStation 2. I actually recently repurchased the games, and they haven't really aged that well. Maybe not that surprising considering they are about 15.
I didn't play any of the older games, like the ones he's showing right now. They just didn't appeal to me. They were, I mean, as you can see, I don't know. They just didn't appeal to me. They seemed more like younger audience focused, and yeah, I just wasn't into them.
Or so years old, and technology has come a long way in that short period of time in the video game industry. Regardless, I still have very fond memories of playing the Chamber of Secrets alongside my brother, being able to explore Hogwarts, learn spells, play Quidditch matches, complete challenges, interact with the established cast of...
So that's another thing. You can clearly see that they've figured out how to make Quidditch in this old janky, I don't even know when this video game came out, but looks like a PlayStation 2 game. And if they can do it there, they can definitely do it in this new one, but they didn't. So that is that is some points off of the new game score before it's even come out. I kind of got into a back and forth with my wife about it because she says, Quidditch isn't that big of a deal. I think in terms of Harry Potter, Quidditch is like a staple aspect of the story. Yes, it is not the whole idea. It is not the main focus. But, they were in the Quidditch World Cup, in Harry plays every year, and he's a seeker like his dad James was. So Quidditch is a big part of Harry Potter, and I feel like the world of Harry Potter. I mean, the traveling on broomsticks alone was kind of a vehicle to push Quidditch, in my opinion, because otherwise the kids were riding a bunch of other things. You know, like you had the flying car, you had the thestrals and the carriage. Um, Hagrid's motorcycle, apparition, the flue, you know, the for the flue powder in the chimneys, or fireplaces rather. Sorry, um, you know, broomsticks were more about like Quidditch for me, at least.
Characters, it was truly magical. But over the years, since the main movies wrapped up Harry Potter's story, I just haven't really cared about the wizarding world. Even the last few movie tie-in games didn't have that same charm which lit up my childhood. The Deathly Hallows games especially took a nosedive in quality. Eventually, the movie franchise continued with Fantastic Beasts. The first one was fine, I guess, and the sequels I just couldn't care less about. And based on the most recent one flopping at the box office, putting the rest of the franchise in jeopardy, I think that's a feeling that a lot of people share, not just me.
Yeah, I don't know. The Fantastic Beast stuff, I feel like the first one started out well. And then I agree. I kind of lost interest. Not that I lost interest, but like it wasn't something that grabbed me as much as like the original movies did, or the books. I hate to say it, but it kind of felt like, you know, squeezing that cash cow, get every last drop of money out of your fan base. Um, but at least they seemed like they put a lot of effort, and, you know, they tried to make it good.
Same could be said on the gaming side of things, as nothing interesting has come about in the last decade or so. The most noteworthy was Pokemon Go like Wizards Unite, which flopped extremely badly and shut down earlier this year. And then there was Hogwarts Mystery, another crappy mobile game which garnered worldwide attention for having a paywall that involved your child avatar being strangled by a magical plant.
Oh my
Depressing
God.
stuff. Around 2018, though, there was signs of life. Some very interesting leaks emerged that indicated Warner Brothers was for the first time getting serious about crafting a premium wizarding experience. Rumored to be called Harry Potter Magic Forever or Harry Potter Magic Awakened, the latter being actually the name of an unrelated Chinese mobile project, which initially released last year. The true premium game, though, was unofficially said to be a third-person open-world action RPG set in the 19th century and being developed by Disney Infinity creators Avalanche Software. Footage from the project leaked online and was essentially confirmed to be the real deal, with Warner Brothers striking it down. Regardless, a few years later, that project is Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay,
And while
yeah,
I was
blah, blah,
skeptical
blah.
at first about the game, my feelings have
So I'm gonna skip ahead because I've watched the video already, and yeah, let's just get to what the problem is. So I think it's up here. That's like 5 minutes in.
confirmed here at the end of 2022 based on the most recent reveal of the game. This was something that the developers pushed hard for, as they were uncomfortable with Rowling's position and rattled by the effects. Active on social media, you know a ridiculous amount of people attempting to establish a movement to have Hogwarts Legacy boycotted. If you are active on social media, you know exactly why that is. Harry Potter book author J.K. Rowling is quite controversial these days, with very divisive views, so much so that numerous actors from the original movies have spoken out against her, while a few have come to her defense. Publisher Warner Brothers very early on knew that Rowling's association with the game could be an issue and made crystal clear that she had zero involvement. On Hogwarts Legacy's website, the frequently asked questions section states, "This is not a news story from J.K. Rowling. However, we have collaborated closely with her team on all aspects of the game."
Okay, so I think this is a very important part of this. Very clearly here you can see it says J.K. Rowling is not involved in the creation of the game. She is the creator of the wizarding world in general. You know, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation of all projects in the wizarding world by nature. I mean, yeah, so this is not a new story from J.K. Rowling. They did collaborate with her team on all aspects of the game to make sure it lines up with canon, to make sure everything keeps the story, cohesive.
To ensure
We'll
it
keep going.
remains in line with the magical experiences fans expect. In 2020, WB Games president David Haddad stated that while he may not agree with Rowling's views, it wasn't a reflection of the game that they were making, as they had been working with LGBTQ rights organizations. Then he spent an hour and a half talking to the director of transmedia representation at GLAAD. Furthermore, in 2021, it was confirmed in a report from Bloomberg that Hogwarts Legacy would have trans-inclusive characters.
All right, so look at the timeline here. So the first thing they said was from 2020. This is March 2nd, 2021. And I remember hearing about this when it first came out. And to me, again, it's a video game. Personally, for me, it's not a big deal. I don't really, it's not something that I get, my feelings invested in. I can understand why some people might, and that's fine, and more power to them. For me though, I'm like, it is a video game. What are you doing, Tux? Sorry, my dog. You want to be on stream, or you want to be on the video, boy? So anyway, sorry, going back to it. Yeah, so this news story came out, and they were saying they're gonna have the ability to make transgender characters. Great. Cool. There's a topic in there that I could talk about in another video, but the point I'm making is this is March 2nd, 2021. Okay, we're a month away from the game being launched, in 2023 now.
Character creation with body, voice, and gender, witch/wizard, all separated. Something confirmed here at the end of 2022 based on the most recent reveal of the game. This was something that the developers pushed hard for, as they were uncomfortable with Rowling's position and rattled by the effects that she had on a game that they'd put a lot of passion and effort into. So for many, just the fact that billionaire Rowling could...
And I sympathize with the game developers too on that, and it's tough. It's a tough situation, regardless of your personal opinions or feelings on a matter. If you are making something in a pre-established or predetermined setting or world, and you're putting your creative effort into it, to have it potentially be tarnished because of the opinions of someone else, or the opinions of the creator in general, that kind of stinks, because it's like how do you get your art, because that's I consider video games an art form, an interactive art form, but how do you get your art out there and separate it? And then it's I think you could make the argument there of make different art attached to somebody more positive, or more aligned with your opinions. Yeah, sure, but if you are somebody who's passionate about it, maybe these people really love Harry Potter, maybe they wanted to make a good Harry Potter game. I know for me as a fan, and I know a lot of my friends and family and everything like that, we wanted a good Harry Potter game, and I'd say outside of the Lego Harry Potter games, which were hard, my wife and I played through them, and or maybe they're not hard for everybody else, maybe we're just bad, but they were tricky. But we played through those, and those were a lot of fun. But it's very stylized because it's Lego, and it's maybe we wanted a video game that was more realistic looking, not like Lego blocks running around. So we've been wanting a awesome game like this, and I think the world has too, or the fan base has, because of the hype surrounding this game that's about to come out. So
still financially benefit from the game is viewed as a problem. Others have directly attacked even the idea of piracy, as they view it as still supporting her problematic franchise, which originally came from her mind and vision. Rowling's once beloved billion-dollar franchise is now under a microscope, and some of the conclusions that people have
See, so hold on, let me go back here.
originally came from her mind and vision. Just the fact that billionaire Rowling could still financially benefit from the game is viewed as a problem. Others have directly attacked even the idea of piracy, as they view it as still supporting her problematic franchise, which
Her problematic franchise. Now, okay, so this is again where my opinion on this is, again, regardless of where you stand or what you think, if you're talking about the franchise, if you're talking about the wizarding world, okay, it wasn't problematic until J.K. Rowling opened her mouth and said the things she did about, the trans community. And I'm not going to get too far into that because, that's like a whole different thing to unpack. But like, nobody had a problem with Harry Potter until J.K. Rowling said some stuff. Everybody loved it. Like, it wouldn't be as popular as it was today. Like, it wouldn't have gained the following. It wouldn't have garnered all the love and appreciation and positive moments in people's lives if it was a problematic franchise, by nature. I don't think that's the case. I think there's a kind of a, let's tear this thing down because it came from this person. And you could say that's a valid statement. I mean, I've talked to my friends about it too, with like stuff like, do you like Michael Jackson music? I mean, the music, the art is, and this is a little different because she's like, you're not, like, Harry Potter's not running around being like, hey, JK, like, Expelliarmus, she's just the creator of a fantasy setting. Michael Jackson is singing in his songs. He's the performer. He is the, focus. R. Kelly, same thing. So it's a little different. But, the idea, I think, remains the same as, like, you have somebody who might have done something terrible, and they created something that was awesome, and people loved, and, resonated with. And then they find out some wild stuff went down, and they're like, well, can I like this stuff anymore? In terms of Harry Potter, I think you can. Like, I absolutely think you can. It's a fantasy story. J.K. Rowling's not in the story. It's fictional. These characters are their own things. Like, and I also don't think there's, I don't think there's rhetoric from the characters in the books or the movies or anything that, are echoing the things that J.K. Rowling said to upset people. So, because people would make that argument too, is like, oh, she's using these characters as a mouthpiece for her ideology or whatever. But I don't think that's the case either because, again, it wasn't a problem before she opened her mouth.
which originally came from her mind and vision. Rowling's once beloved billion-dollar franchise is now under a microscope, and some of the conclusions that people have made and the attacks that they have pushed on this fictional work is quite extraordinary. Extraordinary because of how much of a reach it is. All across Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, so on and so forth, viral posts such as this have blown up. Yes, streaming Hogwarts Legacy will empower J.K. Rowling. Yes, even if you fundraise while doing it, you're platforming the intellectual property of Harry Potter, which is where J.K. gets her cultural capital. If you denounce J.K., please be consistent and don't promote her stuff.
Okay. So, like, again, going back to where I'd paused the video before, this isn't J.K. Rowling's game. She's not making it. You know, it's in the setting in which she created, but it's not hers. Like, Harry Potter isn't even in the title. It's Hogwarts Legacy because it takes place, you know, hundreds of years before the events of Harry Potter. they collaborated with her creative team, but she had, she really has nothing to do with the game. So, promote her stuff is like, is any witch or wizard her stuff? I don't know.
Polygon back in 2020 published an article about why they would not be buying the Harry Potter game. We also have numerous articles such as this one coming from Forbes asking if Harry Potter fans should boycott the game. Some outlets actually even advocating for boycotting, giving reasons for it. GameSpot and The Gamer wrote essays on why you should feel bad if you buy Hogwarts Legacy. And then numerous YouTubers have also said that they're boycotting it, and even some incorrect false videos such as this one, Harry Potter cast urge fans to not play Hogwarts Legacy. If you actually see the video, there's nothing at all. It's just fake news, fake information. Not really sure why they did that, probably for views. But even more recently, tweets like this have been blowing up. From a content creator who said don't buy the Harry Potter game has 80,000 likes. Another one with 15,000, don't buy the Harry Potter game because J.K. Rowling gets fat royalty checks off of all Harry Potter merchandise.
All right, so I don't know if I have to play the whole rest of the video. Like I said, I'm going to link it down in the description for you guys to see. If you want to check it out in length for yourself, it's about 18 minutes or 17 minutes or something like that. Look, it is 2023. We live in a new world. There's a lot of change that the world is trying to make, and while I respect that, I have my personal opinions. This is not what I want to make this video about. I'm just talking about the game right now, but I respect everybody's opinions, and I think everybody, by all means, should have opinions and be able to discuss them freely, and chase an awesome life. Like I believe that down to my core. Has nothing to do politically or ideologically. I think people should just be able to be happy and follow their hearts and dreams and be happy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The video games, though, it's like, I think back to Call of Duty, okay, and the Modern Warfare 2, I believe, the original one, not the one that just came out last year. I'm sorry for all the click-clacking that my dog is doing, and my camera just lost focus. There we go. But Call of Duty, when it came out, however many years ago, they had a mission in there called No Russian. Now, if you play the game, you know exactly the mission I'm talking about. And if you haven't played the game, there's a mission in the single-player campaign where you are an undercover agent trying to infiltrate a terrorist cell. And the mission is you in an airport that the terrorists just open fire and start killing everybody in the airport. And this was, I believe, a couple years or a few years after 9/11. So it was like, wow, you can imagine that. And if my memory serves me correctly, but I believe it was like a few years after 9/11. So anyway, 9/11 and that tragic event, for the world tragic event, and like, this video game comes out, a couple years later, a year later, whatever, and there's a mission where you're basically killing people in an airport, and it's wild. And I remember, and there was like, there was a, what is it there? The disclaimer where saying like, hey, and like a warning, like, hey, the following events are, fictional. They're very graphic, and they can make you feel some type of way. You can choose to skip the mission and not play this mission. It wasn't required for the story. They knew how upsetting it could be, and anyway, that game came out, and did it make people mad? Absolutely. Did a lot of people, make tweets about it and all of this stuff? Yes, sure. But like, after me just mentioning it, if you don't play video games, like, did you know about that? Because I don't think you did. And if you did, maybe I'm wrong, whatever. But like, this game hasn't come out, and people are already trying to cancel it. People only found out after the game came out with Modern Warfare, with the airport mission, and then we're like, whoa, what is going on? Um, and they tried to like pull it off the shelves and whatever, and like they didn't. It's still out. I can play it right now. I could stream the thing, but it is emotionally very heavy. As a gamer, even when I play the mission, I'm like, gosh, like, I don't even want to play it. So yeah. Anyway, the game was out, and like here we are with wizards and witches and wands and magic and kids at a school that's super fanciful and awesome. And people are trying to cancel it because of an ideology. And for me, it's just, I look at it like it's a game, and maybe I'm just being, or maybe I'm just ignorant, because this is not my this is not a thing. This is not my community. This is not my tribe. These are not my people. I identify as, a cis male. So, I don't know. I just think like this is a video game, and I can understand people not wanting to support J.K. Rowling because of her opinions. Fine, but like this was clearly not something that was made by her. Does she profit? Sure, because it's like an IP, intellectual property. So, but like here we go. Like, J.K. Rowling was not involved in the creation of this game. You know, it's not a story from her. It's like, I don't know. And the other thing too is, like, we could talk about, and I know this is going long, so I'm sorry, but we could talk about it. We could talk about, like how, what is the perception of games, right? People are always saying stuff like, games are for kids. Like, why do you waste time playing video games? Games, it's immature. It's like little kids play video games. You're an adult. You shouldn't play video games. So, like, even there, it's like, well, then, what's this about? Like, okay, so our adult ideas, our adult themes, and things like that, we're going to push onto potential enjoyment for kids to enjoy. Like, hey, these are my opinions. You're not going to be able to play this game because of my feelings on it. Even though you're just a kid and you might want to have a good time because you like witches and wizards and magic and Harry Potter. I don't know. I'm not trying to be insensitive to things, but I'm a gamer. I like video games. I like Harry Potter. In terms of like J.K. Rowling and the things, I'm like, I don't really care. She wrote it. Cool. Great. Good idea. But like, I kind of like separate it from her. And I know a lot of people have even said too, like, hey, after, the things she said, they were like, her saying those things doesn't mean that you cannot enjoy the experiences you've had and the impact it's had on you and the characters and all of those things. And I agree with that too. I don't think that, her personal opinions, which are not, poured into the story, I don't think that, you have to, I don't think it should tarnish your experience with it. You can separate those things. You can look at that, and she hasn't made like any follow-up Harry Potter stuff and things like that. And if she did, again, it's your choice. Do you want to go along and read them and whatnot, or do you want to say, what, I know what your feelings are, I know what your opinions are now, and if I don't want to support them, I don't have to. But like, this is like separate. This is just a thing that's in that world, but she didn't have anything to do with it. So I don't know why people are trying to cancel it. I do know why people are trying to cancel it. I don't agree with why they're trying to cancel it. Um, and again too, it's like canceling it, but like the developers, from March 2nd, you can't see the date up here at the top, but from March 2nd, 2021, Hogwarts Legacy will have trans-inclusive characters in creation with body, voice, and gender, witch, wizard, all separated. This is great. If you are someone who, this takes an emotional, priority to, or an ideological priority to, this is great. And the people making the games are like, hey, listen, that whatever she said, we don't agree with, and they're under the pressure of being like, we want to like make sure that we're doing our own thing, and you know if this is something that people and players want, then we're going to include that in the game. And I think they're being very thoughtful and considerate to the broad fan base that Harry Potter has. And it's like, yeah, some members of the Hogwarts Legacy dev team have been pushing hard for this, uncomfortable with Rowling's position and rattled by the effect she has on the game that they put a lot into. Yes. So it's like the developers themselves are, attempting to make something that's inclusive and sensitive to feelings and emotions and the fan base, and yet, we're talking about like like stuff like this. I don't know. It's friendly reminder, don't buy this game. The people who worked on it already haven't paid. This doesn't need your support. Trans people are more important than a wizard school you can't let go of. Don't stab us in the back. Okay, so this comment too is like, I don't believe this is someone who knows much about games. I could be wrong. I don't know Vampire Mistress of the Dark Inez 666. But the people who worked on it have already been paid. So she means the developers. They've been paid already because their job is to make the game. They don't get paid for sales after the fact. This doesn't need your support. So the problem is, they make this game. They got paid, right? This game doesn't sell. They don't get hired for subsequent games. The studio behind it, and like if the sales are terrible, people are gonna be like, well, we're not gonna hire that team again. We're gonna hire a different team. So okay, they got paid once, but as video game developers, their body of work, just like anybody else's, is like, hey, I made this great song. Listen to my next song. Listen to my next album. Continue to support me as an artist. So these game developers, they make the game. So if the game is good, play the game, and then they'll see the sales, like, wow, this game sold well and everybody's playing it. And then it's like a studio comes along and they're like, hey, we want to make another game. Let's hire those people because they made a really good game. If nobody plays the game, then they're gonna be like, well, let's not hire that team because their sales were bad and nobody played the game, and maybe people didn't like it, or whatever the case may be. So that statement there, I feel like, is incorrect. Trans people are more important than a wizard school you can't let go of. Don't stab us in the back, thanks. So again, it's like, it's a video game. A wizard school you can't let go. I don't want to even go into that. If you're going to insist on playing the wizard game, they won't even treat it like Voldemort, the thing that must not be named. The wizard game, stop bending yourself into a pretzel trying to find a way to explain or justify doing so, and have the conviction to just say transphobia is not a deal breaker for me. I feel like this is at me. I don't know. I'm making a video about it. I'm just making a video saying, like, I don't know why, like, something I think over here has to into something over here. don't know. I don't think this is a thing that is transphobic or is transphobia, because you can make trans characters in the game. The developers have said we're putting trans people, or the trans option, not even option, but like they're allowing the character creation to be something that's inclusive. So I don't know. I don't know if this is like actual video game players either, or if it's like, I don't want to use the term, but like the woke mob or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's tough. I do understand that it is tough, and I do understand people have real feelings, emotions, hardships, all of those things. And I'm ranting, but I'm gonna play the game, and I don't have, I'm gonna play the game because it's a wizard game in Harry Potter that I love. The story, the characters, the world that was created, the person who created it, really a non-factor for me. I mean, I'm so dumb that I didn't know J.K. Rowling was a woman until like I had already finished all of the books, and I'm like, oh, there's some good books. And then like I was like, let me look into stuff, because that's the type of person. And I was like, oh wow, J.K. Rowling's is a woman. I didn't even know that. So, for me, I can look at these things separate. What is this video too long? I think my dog says this video is too long, and it might be. But again, that's just my opinions. So I'm going to be playing the game. I'm going to be buying it. I'm going to be doing some streams of it when it comes out. And yeah, let me know your opinions in the comments, and please keep them respectful. Please don't be a dick, a jerk. Please don't be a jerk, and yeah, because if you are, I'll delete the comments, because that's not what I'm promoting here. I don't want to make videos that are, I don't need any negative energy, and I don't think anybody else wants any negative energy. But tell me your comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later. Bye.